we're live.
Hey y'all, what's going on? This is the No Nonsense Political Whoa. Shout out to the political podcast. This
Thank
is
you.
the No Nonsense Podcast. This is the No Nonsense Podcast. Today is Monday, August 10th, 2020. It's bleeding into Tuesday, August 11th, 2020, as it's the middle of the night here on the East Coast. I'm your co-host, Naim Oscar, and I got my USB client. I got my co-host here, Oscar Montiel. Hey, Oscar, how are you?
Hey Naeem, how are you doing?
Very well, very well. And we got a special guest here. We got our
No, no,
great
no, no,
man.
no. Let me. I'm gonna cut you off right there just because you used the wrong words. He's
Go ahead.
a special guest co-host.
Oh.
Special guest co-host and a friend of the show, Jason Alamillo. Hey, Jason, Tech Talk King. What's going on?
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me on your season finale or your season finale. I brought a couple friends
one.
with me.
Oh,
That's
you brought
right.
some friends. Welcome.
I brought a couple friends. You want to meet them?
Yeah, welcome to the party. Who do we got?
You got me, Barack Obama. I'm here, ready to go. I'm hiding from Michelle, so don't tell her I'm here. Thank you, Barack. And then I got this cute Labrador. He was here on, I think, the second episode that I did, or the third.
He came out and visited us. I remember him.
Right. And so I brought him, and then he brought me. This is Herbert. Hey, Oscar, can I see your trousers?
I'm not wearing trousers, so
Holy
not
moly, must be
not
my
that
birthday.
fancy at night.
Not wearing any trousers, huh? Anyway, so thank you, Herbert.
Allow me to ask, Oscar, did you see the State Farm commercial? Jake from State Farm?
Yeah, what about him?
Yeah. What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
She sounds hideous.
He sounds hideous.
You can do better, boy. You can do better.
I brought those three friends with me, because I couldn't come alone to this podcast. So thank you for having me, you guys.
Thank you for coming on. I got a special quote to start out the day. We should start getting into this in our second season, hopefully. Let us know in the comments below whether y'all like this. So the quote today is, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us." Emerson.
Your fortune cookie wisdom for the day, Naeem.
I think that's it says Emerson here. I don't know if that's Ralph Waldo Emerson or another Emerson, but it's Emerson, and I have it as a nice little magnet and braille here. It's part of my collection I found today when I was cleaning out my room, and I love it, man. I love it because now whenever you walk into my room, it's right there, and you can get yourself a fill of braille.
So I have a question. You cleaned out your closet?
Oh no, I still have to do that. There's some skeletons up in there, but
no. The reason I ask is you still owe me something.
Oh, I know what I owe you. I have some gifts for you from Mexico. That's right. Yeah, I have to dig those up. Those are in my closet.
Closet. I'm sorry.
Anyways,
So
all right,
we got
guys,
a special and loaded episode for you. Oh, go ahead, Oscar. Load up the pizza for us.
So, as Naeem and Jason said it. As Jason said, this is our season finale. And we're gonna do something special. Of course, it's not our first option, because our first option wasn't available to us because no one, and I'm pointing at you viewers, no one tweeted me, sent an email to Naeem, or sent myself an email regarding questions or comments you have regarding No Nonsense. So we came up with an awesome plan B, which is going over Naeem and myself's top 10 favorite moments on the podcast, but because we individually have favorite moments, we're gonna do a two-parter. So today, because I'm prepared, we'll do my 10 favorite moments, and then whenever Naeem you're available, hopefully this week, so that way we can get this over with. We'll do yours. You just gotta, send me your moments so that way I can prepare them ahead of time. So we'll go ahead and that's gonna be our finale. And by the way, Naeem, because Jason, I don't know if you. Oh no, we didn't post that episode. Hence the reason why I bring this up. So I remember I asked Naeem on one of the episodes that we didn't record because I think we were trying to record a session, but a lot of skeletons came up in that episode that we weren't like willing to release out into the world just
The
yet.
cyber webs. The cyberspace.
So Naeem and I got into a mini argument because I was asking him, he was like, "Hey man, do you and give me your honest opinion about this, Jason?" So I was asking him, he was like, rate your guests from like your favorite guest to your from number 10 all the way up to like number 1. Like who was your like top favorite guest? And Naeem could not rate. Like he could not. He's like, I loved all of the guests and I love all the episodes. I'm like, come on, Switzerland, pick a side.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite episodes is probably besides all of mine, but probably Masa Meta or V Gaspa were two of my top favorites ever on the podcast because I watch all of them, and those were my two top.
We had rich and deep conversations with the both of them, and in
Yeah,
both
and I'll-
instances, I was munching away at some good food, which makes the conversation even more valuable.
Yeah, but I mean,
But Mossam
I
and
were
V
to
are
pick,
amazing folks.
I were to pick the favorite guest besides myself.
Well, you're our most frequent friend of the show.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I
And
would
I was
have to
again, I
say-
was trying to tell, I was trying to tell him that, but he was like, "No," he was like, "All our guests are like, they're like, I can't like that would be so unfair for me to decide." I'm like,
Well,
"Oh
it's for the
my
viewers to
God."
decide. It's a democracy
Well,
here, and
yeah,
our
but
viewers
like,
tell
no,
us
but
which
no.
conversations
But
they
he's
enjoyed
asking you, like,
most.
he's asking you like, what? Hold on, your personal favorite guest or episode. He's not asking you to like chastise the guest. It's just like, what was your favorite conversation on the podcast? Like, I think my favorite conversation was probably the one with V, just because it was really insightful, and really loose. That was probably, and I like that one in particular because Oscar felt a little bit more comfortable in that one, so I really like that. So that's why that was one of my favorite podcasts. So I mean, it's think of it as like your favorite conversation. So that's maybe Oscar how I would have framed it. It's like, who was your favorite?
Yeah.
Because that there were some really insightful things going on in the podcast. You had Naeem's cousin, you had Malsum, V, Azhar, me. You had Zoe, Sarah,
Naim's cousin who's
Donna.
trying to find his way.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys had a pretty good amount of guests for just starting out. So.
Is there an R&B song called "My Way"? No, it's not an R&B song, right?
No.
I think I Want It That Way, or are you talking about?
I want it that
There's
way. Tell
there's
me
a-
why.
I think the Backstreet Boys have a song called "I Like It That Way" or something. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah,
Want It That Way.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the one I was thinking of is not R&B at all. I remembered it. It's the song that Frank Sinatra, I think Perry Como.
Oh,
I think
yes,
Elvis,
yes.
They all did a
I
version
did
of it.
it my
way.
Oh yeah, no, Naeem. No, I told you that you are banned from singing on the podcast.
Keep that for the shower, please.
Anyways,
Put me in
all right, guys. So,
Becky G singing in the shower.
like we stated in many episodes before, we are blind individuals. So, I will try. And Jason, again, you did bring up good ideas on how to avoid voiceover on the phone, but I will try my best to do so. I won't give you the 100% yes, but you know, there are some professionals that sometimes when they're trying to streamline with jaws, they do allow their jaws to speak when they need to. So that's my argument for that.
Don't you worry, my friend. Voiceover is sexy, so we will definitely take pleasure in enjoying the vocal capabilities of that robot software voice speech to read text nonsense. Go right ahead.
All right. So again, top 10 favorite episodes. I mean, if you guys want,
By the way, y'all,
to
that
our
was
viewers.
sarcasm. I don't think voiceover is sexy. I hope that was pretty clear. Go ahead, Oscar.
By the way, folks, if you guys want to, rank our episodes, go right ahead. Don't know how to set up a poll just yet within Skype and or Twitter just yet. So once I learn how to do that, I will definitely let you guys know to do that.
That
Once I figure
feature is
that out.
also available in the YouTubes.
Oh, really? Is it? I
It
don't know
is
how to do that either
available.
way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I voted on a few things via YouTube,
So, but
including
all
my
right.
favorite Turkish TV series. Anyway, go
So,
ahead.
before we get into our top 10, or my top 10, Naeem, I think it's, beneficial to talk about, the future of the channel, just because we haven't been live in weeks. So, I'm gonna give you an update on what I have been doing on my channel, which is, analyzing soccer and football, sports analysis and stuff like that. With football
Indeed.
coming up, I'll be busy, watching the NFL games. Of course, soccer. I'm not into MLS, which is the Major League Soccer here in the U.S. I'm more into the European stuff.
Is
So
the
I've been
MLS the whole DC United stuff?
yes.
Okay. Sorry. Just
So I've been, analyzing European, obviously, Spain, the Spain league, La Liga is over. So I've been analyzing Champions League, and I highly suggest you guys, hop on my channel. I'll put it in the
La
description below
Liga.
to take a look at some, aspects of the Champions League that, got me heated. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And once I get my cybersecurity certificate, which hopefully, if everything goes right and I, stick to my study plan, I should be getting it within the next month to month and a half. So once I get that, under my belt, I will definitely be talking technology, cybersecurity. I know Jason and Naeem, you have had questions over certain things that I've stated, but because of the institution that I have taken classes from have told me to keep, certain things private. I haven't been able to, divulge a lot. So just look out for that once I get that cert. Um, so yeah, that's an update on my channel. Naeem, any updates that you would like to provide regarding your channel? I know you haven't gone live yet, but any future plans and when you plan to go, live on your own end.
I am looking forward to working on, or here you go. I am forward looking to standing or sitting on the debate stage with my opponent.
You said forward looking. You mean looking forward?
It's a thing Joe Biden accidentally or intentionally, I don't know, said last Thursday. Yeah. He accidentally said, I am forward looking to standing or sitting on the debate stage with President Trump. But anyway,
So
yeah,
when
I do look forward to. Go ahead.
when you did that, it reminded or when you said that, it reminded me of when the Washington football team picked up Ron Rivera, their new head coach, the owner, even though they hired him on New Year's Day, and instead of saying Happy New Year or whatever, he said Happy Thanksgiving, and I think that was intentional.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was hungry or something.
I know I'm hungry right now. All right, so yeah, I do look forward to giving you guys lots of content. It's gonna kind of be like a debate style discussion, intellectual discussion. I have a partner co-host on, and it's gonna be a great deal of fun. It's in the works, early stages. Given conflicting schedules, We haven't nailed down details yet or how we plan on moving through with this, but it seems like you guys are going to get like weekly episodes. I think is kind of the plan. We haven't nailed everything down yet, and it's going to look like an hour, hour and a half type discussion on any range of controversial matters. I think we're gonna, there's gonna be political, apolitical, social, religious, economic discussions of that nature, of that garb. But there's, it's going to be a whole range of things. So it's for those who are willing to seriously engage into conversations that will hopefully bring us together and not pull us apart as a nation and as a globe, as a world. So it's going to be a great deal of fun, y'all. Look forward to it. And yeah, other than that, I'm just churning through school, professional obligations, and so on. So I'm gonna try to make my presence as clear as possible, but do apologize if and when I disappear.
Yeah.
Pardon.
It's
Um,
no problem, Naeem. Just again, when I sent you text messages regarding episodes, you never got back to me, so that's why I kind of
Communication.
sent a message to Jason. I was like, bro, this guy, he went MIA on my ass.
Well, we'll get better at that. But yeah, there's plenty of future stuff, independent projects. Oscar, Jason, and I are working on. Jason, I don't know if you want to shout out your independent projects and what you're doing out
Yeah,
west.
so pretty much for my channel, we're gonna have a couple discussions. We're gonna have a foreign policy discussion with Naim Oscar. We're gonna have. I'm not sure if I'm gonna call it that. Naim, maybe I need to work with you on figuring out the name.
We can do
We're
a whole series because there's a whole bunch of foreign.
gonna,
You could go from Latin
so,
America to the Middle East to South Asia.
yeah, so there's quite a bit, and I think I need to learn more about foreign policy because I'm good at national politics. But also, we're gonna be working on. I'm gonna have a guy named Sean Costas. He's a family member. He's my favorite cousin in the whole world. Savannah's fiance. I was gonna say boyfriend, but fiance. Um, and shout out to Savannah. I love you, and I miss you. And she's a nurse, or practicing nurse, or something. I always get it wrong. She yells at me, but not
So
yells.
nurse practitioner, I think is what you're trying to
Yes,
say,
yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's another title, but so we're gonna have that. We're also gonna be talking about coming up with Naeem. The next one of the next episodes is going to be Ryan Grimm was on the Hill. He was talking about J Street, which is an pro-Israel lobbyist, but more progressive in a way. We're gonna be talking about his appearance on the Hill. That's gonna be an episode with Naeem. Also, some other smaller clips. We're gonna have. On my podcast, some more clips coming out. I just did a comedy sketch, a funny comedy sketch. I was walking in heels and doing a whole bunch of crazy things and voiceovers. And there's a part where I'm like, "Come on, Fatso. Oh yeah, walk to the door. Look at that body."
Have you posted that yet? Because I haven't seen that yet.
No, I just filmed it today.
Oh.
It is
Sounds like a
super
great deal of
funny.
fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna indulge in some comedy, some other independent projects that I am definitely in the works on. It's kind of in the works. It's not there yet for me to talk about because I don't even know how to put it into words yet. So definitely some independent projects. I am gonna do a technology one, and I'm gathering people to be on that lineup. So Oscar will definitely be one of the guests, hopefully, and then we'll have a few others. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on my channel right now and independently. Get ready for guests because right now it's all been myself except Naeem. Was on one podcast and episode, and then get ready for comedy. That's gonna be fun, and just a few other things going on there.
Yeah, so my goal for my channel and this I do follow some YouTubers, some sports YouTubers, and I have spoken to them, or one of them anyway. And so I started following this guy on Twitter, and he followed me back. And he actually gave me a like on one of my videos, on one of my sports videos. Mr. Ed Oliver, if you're watching this, at any point in time, I want to thank you for following me back on Twitter. you keep it real, Mister Washington football fan, and Washington and DC sports. So just keep it real, man, and hopefully, I've sent you a message through YouTube, and hoping that maybe you can jump on our podcast, or my podcast, whatever you prefer. Just let me know, of course. But other than that, that's those are the main projects that I'm working on. So I guess without further ado, guys, unless you guys you have anything to talk about. Oh, that's right, future episodes, Naeem. Forgot. Any future episodes that you want to highlight for season 2?
So we have plenty lined up for season 2. Some stuff is still in the works. Some stuff are definitely nailed down. Some stuff we want to hear our viewers' thoughts on. So we plan on doing a discussion with a fellow prominent YouTuber in the the blindness space and the blindness discussion space. Mrs. Bartling, if you're watching us, host of the 6 Blind Kids. I look forward. Oscar looks forward. We want to make outreach and have a conversation, because what you guys do on check the 6 Blind Kids YouTube channel out, folks. What they do on their channel and all the great stuff that they have to offer. We want to give them some of our platform and see where we can discourse. It will be a fun conversation. I think there's going to be a lot to be covered there, and I don't want to spoil too much of it, but look for that. That will be a blindness and parenting discussion to a degree. We also look forward, this is really early stages, I am working on making this happen, having a conversation with blind parents and how they do it, raising their sighted or blind children. We also plan on having a conversation here with whoa, why do I feel like I'm slipping into a southern accent?
Just you, Naeem.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I felt there. Oh, man. I felt there for a second that I was losing my I and making it ah. But anyway, so that was horrible. I don't know what that was. You only do the southern drawl if you naturally have it. So yeah, I also plan on we plan on doing a conversation about our dynamic with our siblings, our relationships with our siblings, and whether we've been able to tap into the relationship with our sighted siblings, and how that looks, whether that looks any different, whether that would have looked any different if we were sighted. So that's going to be a very in our feels conversation. We do plan on having future Tech Talk segments, of course. We are going
no,
Jason,
to we already had 3 episodes with you. We need to move on.
No, we'll have some with Jason for sure.
You won't find anyone better, okay?
Yeah, we might.
No one's gonna give you this booty like I will.
No one can replace the way that you've done it, man. But we just got to get other people's perspective.
So we plan on bringing a data consultant, an expert on, and we also plan on reaching out to other folks and seeing, what we can tap in the world of tech. Oscar's also gonna hint us into some tips and tricks once he can really break into the industry and get out of the institutional commitments. And we also do plan on having a top 10 travel destinations conversation with a really good friend of Oscar's, and we are going to talk about our.
I wouldn't say really good friend.
So I don't know that I want to touch that. So anyway,
well, we have the food video too, Naim.
We do want to rub it up.
Ozzy.
Yes, we do have a chef, a friend of ours who's a chef who's also been on Chopped, and we want to bring him on, talk about some of that stuff. We have plenty of fun stuff, from travel to food to tech, and yeah. I think we're gonna get spicy in season 2. We may even have a conversation about spice. No,
Spice
Jason,
Girl.
you and I can get spicy off air too.
We can do it on air too.
Not on my podcast.
Don't worry,
Not
Oscar
on.
will be in the middle. It'll be like the Salvadorian sandwich.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead since there's no way of segueing out of that. I'm just gonna go ahead and segue into our top 10.
A relationships episode. We should do it, or do you, or should we?
Oh.
Maybe Jason and I can spice that up there. No, Oscar, if you want in on that convo, but you can already see where that's going.
Yeah, no, I'd rather not.
You know, a good old Salvadorian sandwich with some onion in the middle.
What is it called? Lingua de pollo. No, I messed that up really bad.
You know what? Before Naim starts trying to break out in Spanish, we'll just go ahead and segue into my top 10 favorite moments on No Nonsense.
Number 10. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
What is 10 in
voice?
Spanish?
First,
10,
you know,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Actually,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So,
Yeah,
Jason,
10.
so you know how there's a countdown for you? You know how like on radio shows when they
Yeah.
like count down like their favorite songs or whatever, and they like they do like little voiceovers or whatever.
Huh?
You can do that.
You're number 10.
Yeah.
All
Just let me
right,
know
so
what you needed and I'll bust it out.
all right, so you guys again talk. I guess keep the conversation going while I pull it up.
All right, y'all. So,
Just keep it
Salvadorian
PG,
sandwiches.
PG-13, por favor.
How about rated R? Naim, pull your pants down. No, just kidding.
So, did I actually get the name of the sandwich right? Lingua de pollo?
I don't know. Wait, are you trying? Because if it's a Salvadorian dish, I don't know nothing about that except pupusa.
No,
Pupusas are good though.
I'll take a bite of your pupusa. I'm just kidding.
It's called pupusa de chicharrón. No.
Mmm. Chicharrón's good.
I'm just remembering whatever words Oscar have taught me in Spanish in the past and combining them and calling it a day. Oh, you have to tell me, Jason, you told me about the ensalada de pollo, which is a really good chicken salad.
Yeah, it depends on how you do it, but typically you can do it in a tostada and have like lettuce, you have the tomato, you've got your sauce, like a nice salsa with some good old chicken and
I wanted to try the not empanada de crema, the one that was vanilla. What was it? Vanilla cream empanada de piñas pineapple.
Piña pineapple. Well, there's the empanada de vainilla. Well, you got to be careful because like vainilla and what? Because like you don't just want to have vanilla extract. It's kind of wet in there. You do like a Mexican pastry cream, but there's like sopes. There's what else did I tell you? The roll tacos del pastor, which is like a pork. You could do tostadas de carne asada, de carnitas, de
Oh, what was the papas de carne? No.
Oh, carne con chile y papa. It's basically a meat, and you can marinate it or you can just put chile all over it, and you cook it, and you can make it like a juice or not, and then you cut the potatoes in like little squares, and then you kind of make them a little crunchier, and it's carne con chile y papa.
Yeah, that's the good one. I need to
my grandma got a good recipe, but I mean you can really do it, and you can decide what kind of spice you want. Do you want it like spicy to where like whew?
All right, boys.
So we were gonna get into licuado, but okay, let's get it.
Licuado.
All right, boys. So I'm gonna give away the episode, but I don't because I know that Naim, you're long-winded, so try to keep it simple. So Jason, I'm just gonna throw that question out there. What do you think of when you think of pilot episode?
Oh, pilot episode. I think my favorite part of the pilot episode was that you sounded like you had a New York accent, just the way you were talking. You had a New York accent.
Some Andrew Cuomo shit.
Your voice kind of sounded as New York accent. But I think my favorite part was I laughed at this part because it was like how, you guys went to the store and then you got stuck for like 3 hours, and then like I don't know, somehow like I think you called your mom or Naim called his mom, and like what someone got you guys an Uber back. It was actually quite funny, and I think that's what I think of.
All right. So, Naeem, keep it short and sweet. What are your thoughts when you think of our pilot episode?
So we had part 1 and part 2, as all you guys know. Part 1 was really a let's just see how this thing works type deal, and we started a conversation about how we met, where I was in life, where Oscar was in life at the time when we came together at an intersection, and intersection of life, not an intersection of the roads. And we really delved into that, and I think that gives our viewers an idea of where we were then, and hopefully gives them a glimpse into where we are now and how much has changed and how far we've grown, and just a great deal of fun. But I do think part 1 was very organic, very natural. It was kind of like, you know, like this whole first season. We whip it out in the backs of our Ford F-150 trucks and just have a good time. It's like we just keep the conversation real. So part 1's a little less polished than part 2, but part 2 did expose my tendency to be long-winded.
Still are, because I did tell you to keep it short and sweet.
No, that was short and sweet. Like me.
I'm teasing you, boys. But this was, thank you guys for your takes on season 1, or episode 1, the pilot. This is my favorite moment of our pilot, which is when we establish what no nonsense really means to both Naeem and myself.
Number 10.
What does no nonsense mean to you? Well, actually, let me rephrase that. What do you think our viewers and people around the world think no nonsense means to them? Let's start with that question.
All right, so let's be real. Most of the time you hear the phrase no nonsense, it's either when you're up to shenanigans and your parents are not too happy with those shenanigans. Hey, cut out the no nonsense. I mean, pardon me, cut out the nonsense, or I'm giving you a no-nonsense tone right now. Or if you get confronted with one of your lies, let's say you have a crazy ex-girlfriend and she's been blowing up your phone while you're with your current girlfriend, and then all of a sudden you get wooed by her again and start to do some forbidden action, if you will. Your current girlfriend finds out and she says, no nonsense, tell me what's going on. So no nonsense gives you this military vibe, this, hey, there's no messing around, there's no fooling around, we're talking for real. But that's the implication we get. But look, Oscar and I, we never are on the surface level type folks. No, we dig deep. So let's talk a little bit about how we came to No Nonsense. That's the title of our podcast, Oscar.
Well, it's funny because your name is Naim, my name is Oscar. You just take the first letter of each of our names, put them together. What word do you get? No. And yes, I know that the title says no nonsense, but we're going to be talking nonsense. If not all the time, if not sometimes all the time. You'll see different topics throughout the week. And if once we get more people to tune in on our podcast, we may take feedback from our audience. So stay strapped for that. And again, I hope that you guys can enjoy this ride with us, because we want to get a lot of feedback, so that way we can improve as not just podcasters, but also individuals. So again,
allow this.
All right. You guys' take on my pick, on my 10th pick.
I think for me, the fact that I nailed the number 10 right on time before you played it is crazy. But I really like both of your explanations. And Naeem, you sound like you've got a really deep voice. When you really don't, it's kind of really not deep, it's light. But I like the explanation of it. I think it's cool.
Naim.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. Tastes really good. I could just taste it all around. It's really tasty. I don't like that deep voice on me. Honestly, I know that's your mic. I'm just giving you a hard time, Oscar. But I like that. That's soft and sexy. That gentle. Anyway, so yeah, I would say it's the backbone of who we are and the atmosphere of this podcast, and that ultimately communicates it in a short little clip. We're just here to chop it up. We're just here to shoot the breeze, and we're just here to make bullets rain on ourselves. And
Oh.
I didn't realize what I said till after I said it. But that's the nice thing of going live. It's okay. I'll take a few bullets for the team. Maybe like 7 or 8, no more. It's really important to know why we're doing this, and I think it's important to highlight. And you guys will see, viewers, from our first season, that it's just us having a conversation. It's just us, just having a nonsense, just burning it down, if you will. So, yeah, without too much rattle tattle, I guess I'll tell you guys, it's really that clip that builds the bricks, builds the foundation. So you can't burn down this house without burning down that clip. So that's the backbone of who we are as a podcast. Thank you, Oscar, for that.
Yeah. My number one take is, so I don't know if you remember this conversation, Naim, when I think it
Whoa,
was
we
our
jumped all the
third.
way to number 1, hun.
No. I said no. I said my number one take on this episode is um you know on our third episode with with Obey. I remember at the beginning. I remember. Don't you remember when I was trying to film it on my computer? But I think you and him were like, yeah, you kind of sound like you're in a bubble or whatever. Oh, hold on, give me a sec. Okay. Remember when you said that I kind of sounded like in a bubble, and I was like, no, I sound normal. I don't know what you're talking about. But actually, reviewing that episode actually does reflect on. I really did sound not close at all when I used my laptop before. So that's number one. Number two, again, um you see how Jason and how I'm hesitant, or I was hesitant on striking out on my own, just because this podcast you know was something that I viewed that Naim and I can do together. And if I would exclude Naim on like my solo projects, it would be like leaving no nonsense behind. So that's my attachment to no nonsense. Looking back at the pilot, you know splitting that into 2 episodes, which I believe that other than the pilot episode, the dream episode, and this finale will only be 2-parters for season 1. So those are my takes on number 10. But before we move on to number 9, again, while I get that queued up, talk amongst yourselves.
I think
So we want to make sure we give another shout out to Jason's political podcast. And I know, Jason, you touched on your independent projects, but what do you do outside of being an upstart, an up and coming YouTube podcaster? What else do you do? What other services do you offer? Okay, that sounded a little like sexy time.
well, in the bed, I offer some good services. No, I teach assistive technology, which for the viewers who are not blind or visually impaired, that is teaching regular technology like computers and phones and tablets with added little softwares and hardwares to people. And then, I also I do school. I'm a journalism and communication studies student. I definitely like to watch videos and edit them, and I like to read. I definitely do a few other things with other people. I sing over tracks and things like that on songs, and so that's kind of my life. That's kind of what I do, and my podcast and all of that. So that's kind of me.
But by the way, Jason, can you it's your cue.
Number 9.
Here's my number 9 pick.
So to help you attain your goal, this is something I don't know if you in high school ever heard the phrase. Well, it's not a phrase, but the word SMART broken up into different sections.
I've never heard that acronym.
No. Okay. So SMART has different acronyms. So the S stands for specific. So what is your specific goal? You said you wanted to get your something in the real estate business, right?
Yeah. Right. So probably well, I do have aunt, so somebody in the family that already has her own business, and she's brought up like multiple times, like on occasion, like she'll be saying, I'm planning on retiring soon. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm hopefully planning on maybe trying to get incorporated with her business, and hopefully after working under her as like an assistant and learning that side of the real estate world, and then eventually taking over her business one day, I hope.
Yeah. All right. So then the next letter is measurable, which is M. How are you going to measure yourself, and how are you going to measure your expectations and how you live up to them? That's the next step.
Well, as I stated, hopefully, just starting off with getting my license, and then, I've already kind of started with studying the book. I've already gone over it, and then I want to try and go over it again, and just within the next maybe few months or so, maybe study a good take some time to learn learn
so
requirements, and
so you led right into the next one, which is A, which stands for attainable. How is your goal attainable? How are you not gonna say one thing, because here's the thing, people, and Naim, you can vouch, don't say no, are big talkers.
Yeah.
But they don't realize what they're setting themselves up for, and then you try to find a way to attain that goal, but you can't, just because you set something big for yourself without realizing how to attain. So how are you gonna try to attain? Like I know you spoke about maybe working under your aunt. What other ways do you think you can attain this goal?
I've also stated maybe going ahead and trying to work with my father in the beginning stages, just kind of get me more familiar with what I have to, what I'm going up against, like these big real estate out there, and just kind of getting familiar with commercial or residential, and just the basics of the.
All right. Yeah. All right. The next letter is R, which stands for reason.
So, sorry to interrupt. I know we want to get into the R, but
Sorry, I could have continued, but again, and I spoke to Naim off air about this. He kind of ruined my flow, so that kind of ruined the clip for me. But Jason, if you don't recognize that, then that's the episode that we did with his cousin Obey. By the way, Naim, an idea for season 2 is bringing him back and seeing how he's doing with what he was telling us in that episode about his career pursuits. But that's
Bring him
just an
back on
idea.
the progress. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jason. So, what is your take for career pursuits? Is I believe the name of the episode.
Yeah, actually, it was goals. I was just looking it up right now on my iPad. I was looking up, and that episode is called Goals. So, I enjoyed that episode particularly because it was a really good flowing episode in some ways more than others. Just because it was like kind of having him really explain himself, and it was like a good way to just ask him just question after question after question. I pretty much enjoyed hearing him out and just learning about him more and what he wants to do. And that's a good clip just because just because it's so early in the podcast. That was episode 3, if I remember correctly. And so, I don't know. I just really like it, and it was a really good way. I think my favorite part is how you outlined the specific, the measurable, the attainable. I think that was really cool how you really laid that out, and how he responded. So that was really good.
Naim.
So there was a lot of growing on my part as a result of that episode. And I want to say, on the record and off the record, I publicly and privately do apologize for interrupting your flow. You were going to go into realistic and time, so for smart. But I just had to ask Obey, was he more interested in residential or commercial real estate? And, I just, as my neurons shoot off, I let it come out. So I apologize for that. But I will say very importantly, yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of fun. There was a lot of conversation to be had. I will say one thing is I notably, you guys probably took notice to this. Those of you who consumed the episode, they did not mention anything in my little investment segment about investing in cryptocurrency. I do not invest in cryptocurrencies, do not currently anyway. So I don't want to comment on a facet of the market that I have not participated in myself. There are folks who really trust and enjoy and profit off cryptocurrencies. I just don't have the confidence and faith in the idea of cryptocurrencies now to invest in it. I do believe that in the long term we're going to switch to digitized currency or cryptocurrencies. I just don't know which one of these millions and millions of crypto competitors are going to win out, which ones are going to be legitimized, because no one's really legitimized now. What's the source? What drives those prices up and down? And there's just not enough science attached to it yet, like there are with equities, like there is with real estate, like there is with precious metals, like there is with foreign exchange, Forex, going from one country's currency to another's, which are all based, which are all legitimized, which are all validated in one way or another. Cryptocurrencies haven't been based. They're not debased. They just don't have a base. So I don't know where cryptocurrencies are going. I take a very neutral approach to cryptocurrencies currently. I'm not actively rooting against or campaigning against cryptocurrencies either, but I do have faith in the principle. I have faith in the idea that eventually we will shift to digital currency platforms. So I just wanted to put that information out there for everyone to know why I did not entertain the discussion of cryptocurrencies in my little investment segment in that episode, which sort of just naturally fell into context when we were discussing real estate. There was a lot I took away from that episode, but there was a lot of personal growth and reflection. I was definitely all over the place that evening. I don't know what the rush was, maybe caffeine. I don't consume much caffeine ever, but I felt like I was on some like speed or something that day, which I wasn't. I don't sniff anything. Well, I did not sniff anything that night. Leave some mystery, right? But yes, there was a lot to take away. I do want feedback from the viewers, and I want feedback from Oscar and Jason, both who consumed this episode. I definitely felt speedy. Was I out of place at different times in that episode?
Well, that actually, I'm gonna leave this. Well, I'm not gonna answer that question for this clip, but I will answer it for this next one. Give me 1 second to unplug my headphones. Oops, there goes voiceover. But just we gotta make sure that it's still screen locked, unlocked. Jason.
Number 8.
So I actually want to ask you, like, because here's the thing, you talk about Firefox, and I mean, Internet Explorer is so outdated. I mean, the most popular now is Firefox and Google Chrome, but I feel like people use more Google Chrome than Firefox. Do you know why that is?
Because it's usually a standard. Google puts out a lot of information. They pay billions of dollars of advertisements a year to make sure you know Google Chrome. It's basically what people know. The average person is not going to know. They're just going to go, oh, Google Chrome because it's advertised, right? And they know it. And a lot of times they do know about Firefox and say, okay, whatever. They're both kind of the same. But I think one of the reasons they do use Google Chrome the most is because I think it's a little easier to autofill passwords. It's a little bit easier to, use, and it's more popular. I think so. That's basically it. I think Chrome is a little more popular, and I personally prefer Safari. Sometimes I will use Chrome, but on my Mac, I prefer to use Safari because it is so much.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but Chrome is trash on the Mac.
It is.
Chrome is trash on the Mac.
I have a Mac in front of me right now, and I was on Chrome as we were talking, and it's okay. I mean, there's ways to manage it, and I have, and it's fine. But I think in terms of keeping more privacy,
That's enough of that clip. But I guess just before I turn it over to you, I want to answer Naim's question, and I guess we can do my take for this for my, what is it, 9 and 8 picks. So you weren't as all over the place in Obey's episode than you were in this episode. So I'll tell you that much. What I liked about Obey's episode is that I gave off as that mentor role, which again people do come to me for advice, which I do appreciate, which makes me think that maybe I was, even though I do love technology and stuff like that, I could have taken like more opportunities to maybe look at different careers. It was just that I was pushed and rushed into a lot of things with family and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to explore my habit. It was you know that story. A lot of people my family really weren't on board with me going to a adult adjustment to blindness training. So that is something I do regret, that I could have explored more avenues. But that is my take from both the third episode and I guess the fourth episode. I did like again it did establish. I remember, Jason, when I was kind of hesitant. I'm not gonna I'll tell you what it is, Jason. And you can hate me for it, but Naim suggested, hey, can we bring this Jason guy? I think you'll like him. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not into meeting new people. Just and plus I don't. It's too, in my opinion, it was too soon to bring on like more on-air personalities and stuff like that. So I was kind of again hesitant. But then I got to know you before we went live with this episode, and it established a huge dynamic within the podcast and our individual channels. So that's something I do treasure from this episode as well.
Yeah, I do too. I think I laughed when you put that on because I was like, whoa, that's me. I sound so different on your phone. I'm like, oh my God, it's kind of creepy listening to yourself. I have to apologize to the viewers because in that episode, I was saying that Chrome and Google Chrome and Firefox are the same thing. They are not the same thing. So I want to apologize. I did not realize I said that, and as I was listening to that, I kind of cringed a little bit while I was holding my soda. It is not the same. It has similar functions. They both do autofill passwords. they except Firefox will ask you. Chrome, you kind of have to go into the settings, and so I do want to apologize to the viewers, but I think one of my favorite parts of that clip in specific was it was so, it was just analysis of what I thought, and I know that most people are gonna say that I'm wrong, and some people will say that I'm right, and that's fine with me. But I personally like that clip. I think my favorite clip from that episode actually is one of my other favorite clips. I have a few, but one of my favorite clips is the very end when you said, if you're in a hotel, which would you use the public Wi-Fi, or if you had to, what would you use? And my answer was a VPN, and you just went crazy. You're like, oh, you nailed it. And so I liked that episode. I think everyone kept growing. Everyone it was just so fun for me because I didn't know you either, and I think had we just jumped into it right away, I think Naim was taking so long. I think he had family things to deal with. I think had we not done that, had we not had that time to talk for that hour, I think it would have been a really weird podcast, and you might have not asked me as many questions because I feel like, me telling you a little bit about me and what I do in tech and all of that, I think really established a good bond in the podcast. But ahead of that, I mean, we're both supportive of each other's channels. We both tweet each other's channels out, and we put links in descriptions, and it just established this partnership, and it was fun for me. It was just the first time I'd ever been on a podcast myself, so that right there was pretty cool.
Naim, what is your take from Tech Talk, our first Tech Talk episode with Jason?
And that clip.
Yes, indeed. I think Jason, I lost you for a little, but
don't go 20 minutes over. Just keep it short and sweet this time, please.
Okay. Yeah, it was really good. We started a series, and it's a series that we're going to continue into season 2, and our viewers are going to see more of. And it's always great having conversation with people who have different perspectives. There was a portion of that first episode that was a non-debate debate. I say non-debate because I didn't give others the opportunity to engage me with their ideas or in their ideas. But I think all in all, that laid the foundational framework for different themes within our podcast. We have tech discussions. We are going to start establishing a food discussions dynamic. We're going to potentially establish blindness discussions as its own series. I think we've already sort of built on that. Maybe we're going to do relationship discussion, so siblings, parents, children, romantic relationships, husband, wife, spouses, that kind of stuff. And so we have different themes within the general scope of our podcast of discussion. And, the whole idea of being able to the thing.
No, I don't know the thing, but continue.
That was a Joe Biden reference.
Yeah, that's why I laughed a little bit.
Well, I had a brain pause, so I figured let me sneak that in while I can. Genuinely.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, and I'm still having the brain pause. Anyway, you get the point. The thing,
Yeah, I think my favorite part too of that was, it was just I kind of like how Naim was asking questions in the first part. Oscar, I think what I really love is how you shine in certain episodes. I know in some we kind of talked off air, and it was like, oh my god, I don't know, but I think it was like the first episode where you had Obey on. It was like, it didn't really have a theme, but then once we started, and then once you had V, and then you had Mossam, and then you had Zoe and Sarah and Juliana, and then you had others on the podcast. Michaela, it really did this awesome thing to your podcast where it really diversified. And Oscar, I think my favorite part of the goals episode and the tech episode was you really shined. I mean, that episode was awesome, that goals one. Okay, so what is your measurable goal? What do you think here? What do you think there? It was like you took control and you just shined in that moment. I honestly, when I saw the goals title, I thought Naim was just going to shine through. And I think that was a good moment for you too. But especially with this podcast, it just really showed just the early parts of the podcast. The fact that, man, these guys have had 2 guests in a row now, and like, whoa, they're actually having guests. And it was crazy because no one expects you to have it. It's always your co-host, and so that was pretty cool, especially with that clip in particular. It was just a really informative clip.
Well, you're gonna speak for another second because I already have thank you for your words. But next number.
Number 7.
I would go is, so remember I was at Giant one day and I would get like spread out my flavors of chips and I decided to get hot fries, like the original, because there's the Chester fries, which is the Cheeto brand, and then there's the original. I don't know what the original. I don't want to mispronounce it, but so the shopping assistant was like, so you're trying to throw those hot fries in the what's that soup called?
Oscar, do you mind pausing? I have to.
Ramen noodle soup. And I was like, wait, like that's wait, well, what? And he was like, yeah, like you can toss a few in there, and it's pretty good. So I tried that one, and it actually is really good, to my surprise.
Indeed, it's really good. Sorry, I'll take you water.
Okay.
You could have told me to go on. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here drinking water, yo.
I thought you were peed. I was like, I thought you were peed or something. I'm sorry, but that was awesome. I don't know what you were trying to do with that clip. Oscar, maybe you might want to play it again.
Let's play it again, please. Please play it again.
Oh, God.
You guys are dying, aren't you?
I've never heard anyone drink water like that.
No, yeah, it's a. It's hold on. I got the impression.
And I heard,
Oh yeah, wow, it's so tasty.
It sounds like he was having sex. Like, and I heard something like falling. Like I thought he was peeing. I was like, that's a strange way to drink water.
Dude, you gotta go back to the beginning of that. I don't think that's what you were going for, but that's hilarious.
Naim, if you're gonna laugh again, you might want to mute yourself because that was funny.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what you guys just take from that clip. that it
Hearing about something like hot fries.
No, I want to hear the recipe. It sounds good, whatever recipe you were serving up there, man. But oh my gosh.
So what it was?
I thought Ben Shapiro made me laugh today. Oh my gosh.
I'll just paraphrase.
No, play the whole thing. I want to hear it again. I'll mute myself this time. I promise. I'll hear it again.
All right, so you're gonna hear voiceover, and you're gonna hear me try to find the exact timestamp, just because I'm too lazy to put my headphones in for the second.
And McDonald's.
Go ahead first.
As far as I would go is, so remember I was at Giant one day and I would get like spread out my flavors of chips and I decided to get hot fries, like the original, because there's the Chester fries, which is the Cheeto brand, and then there's the original. I don't know what they're, I don't want to mispronounce it, but
Might want to turn your speech off. Yeah, there you go.
So the shopping assistant was like, So you're trying to, throw those hot fries in the dang, what's that soup called? Shoot.
Ramen or
ramen noodle soup. And I was like, wait, idea. Like that's wait, well, what? And he's like, yeah, like, you can toss a few in there, and it's pretty good. So I tried that once, and it actually is really good, to my surprise.
So before you guys have a good fit, I stopped it right there. By the way, Naim, can you take a guess of what that episode was? I wanna see if you know. Naim, unmute yourself.
He might be laughing his ass off.
Probably.
I was waiting for the. What was I doing? Was I like taking a dump while drinking water or something? Was I making love to the water? I think I was making some love.
Oh my God. Oh, that killed me. I needed that today. Well, can you guess what episode that's from? When he was talking about the chicken noodle soup and the chicken noodle soup and
That was from the episode where I explained how I drink more than just water and how I used to make those noises because I was just, that's just how I breathe, man. I was so big and huge. That's from my weight loss journey episode.
Huh,
Yeah.
you remembered.
Remember that? That was funny. Oh my God.
Dude, and the funny thing is, I never noticed that till now. You could have told me put mute, bro. Huh?
You couldn't upchuck? Did you not upchuck, Jason?
What do you mean, Chuck?
Throw
up? I almost did. I was very close. I made sure not to eat that whole day because I was like, if I'm gonna watch this episode, but that part was not funny to me. I just thought like, oh, he's moving around. But this, I don't know why that made me laugh. That killed me.
So, Naim, what is your take from your weight loss journey episode?
Always make sure you're on mute.
Don't make love to the water. Drink it.
No, water is worth making love to. Water is definitely worth making love to.
Also,
what I will say is, man, I lost my voice from all this laughing. Holy moly, guacamole. So, yeah, guacamole is so sexy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway. So guacamole. There's a lot of things we don't realize really play a role in our lives, really bog us down, bring us down. Even if it's not literally bringing us down in terms of insecurities, it's bringing us down in terms of like, it's holding us back when we don't realize we're being held back. And the pounds I used to have on me, those used to weigh me down, literally and figuratively. And it was kind of like, I did not realize at the time, because I didn't, and I meant it genuinely when I said this in the weight loss episode. I didn't care, but I didn't feel the difference. I didn't feel the improvement. I didn't feel the relief. I didn't feel the expansion of heart and soul until it happened. And the thing is, which makes it crazier, I didn't do anything exotic to drop pounds. I didn't be like, oh man, I gotta drop these pounds. It just, I came to the realization, and even after coming to the realization, I didn't take any drastic steps. I just said, I want to do this naturally. I didn't go for a tummy tuck. I didn't go for a starving for 24 hours type diet. I didn't do any of that. I just said, let's just be realistic. Let's just cut down the bloated budget, if you will. And that's what we need to do with our military budget as well. But the point of the matter is, it just kind of happened, It was, I guess, the deepest reckoning I have had in my life thus far. I think season 2 we'll have an episode where I will talk, because I like to do those heart to hearts. I don't know, viewers, I hope we can relate, because I know we can as humans always relate. I want to do in season 2. I'm gonna do an episode, and Oscar, I know you might not be expecting this. An episode on my deepest, darkest insecurity that Oscar knows, and we'll save the surprise for Jason and the viewers when we film that episode. But that's another thing I was battling with, is this insecurity.
I guess I can, once, if I can get clearance. Well, it's my life, but technically, what we could do is, do another, personal journeys episode for the both of us in season 2, and I guess I can reveal a little bit more, about like my dark past and stuff like that. So I guess we can.
For
we can
sure.
both do that.
There's lots of personal stuff, so definitely do what you're comfortable with. But it's lots of things. But this weight issue I was having wasn't by any stretch of the imagination an insecurity of mine. It was just there. And I think that's what made the journey all the more meaningful, is that I didn't see meaning in it when it was happening. I only realized it at the end. I only realized the results when they were made. And they always say the journey's in the road, not in the destination. But it was the destination that made me appreciate the road in this instance. So yes, there was a lot. Jason, I think you knew me at the tail end of my quote-unquote fluffiness. Taking one of your words.
I'm doing my fluffiness.
But yeah, everyone should feel comfortable in their skin. Never feel like you shouldn't feel comfortable in your skin. And I didn't realize how comfortable I felt in my skin till I felt more comfortable in my skin, if that makes any sense. Now I can just tear off a shirt and show off my 6-pack abs.
I'm still fluffiness. So I'm definitely still there. That was a good heart-to-heart, except for the fact that Naim was peeing live on air, or just making up to it.
Filling up a pitcher of water was what I was really doing,
Right.
but
Yeah, it was a good heart-to-heart episode. I kind of like those episodes just because it was a break from the norm, because you guys kind of had established this theme of having guests and this and that, and right in the middle, it was kind of nice to have like this break and just have you both kind of, talking. And I think that makes a lot of sense there. And I don't know if you realize where I am, Naim.
you're in your nice
Back
little
in your
sexy
studio.
studio.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You
Anyway,
willing to
But-
sing us some lines at some point tonight?
Wrap up thoughts, Jason, before we move
Yeah.
on to the next.
and that's number 6, right? That we're moving on to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can program it. Oh yeah, no, but I like that heart-to-heart. It was really nice, and just the fact that you had that, I think it brings out more of you in the viewers. And I think one thing I would say is maybe editing those clips to be like take apart a couple parts of each one that you do Oscar and Naim's personal journeys episodes, and take some clips and put them out there so people can maybe check a certain part out that maybe that
Can
would
give them value?
No, just maybe they can check out and maybe go, oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll go
You
watch.
need to teach me how to do that, because you've shown me how to do the posting on YouTube through iMovies. I don't know how to cut out clips though. But I know you can do it through iMovies.
Yeah, it's
I
a
just
little.
don't know how to.
It's a little tricky. I have a method. I'll tell you about it.
All right. Next one.
Number 6.
Well, Naim, this is actually a very special episode, it's our first ever multiple episode where we have not just one, not just 2, but we have 3 guests on our show.
And some folks are participating through the live audience too.
Yeah, some more volunteered to speak, but some just chose to be in the audience. So folks, this is a great podcast episode that we're looking forward to. What we're going to do today, or in this episode, is talk about our past episodes that we have filmed so far. For those who
So this is just one specific clip, just because it was a lot and I couldn't pick, a good clip. It was just so many people, and in my opinion, and I guess picking up your both's opinion after mine, is I felt like it was the longest episode that we had, but it really wasn't. It wasn't. Like, I think it was like only like 2 hours and 10 minutes long, but it felt longer. I don't know if it was because we just chatted afterwards, but that's my take. And again, we hopped from. Hence the reason why I really couldn't title. For those who don't know, just because we kept on hopping from topic to topic, I just that's where I came up with the title name of Mumbo Jumbo, just because honestly didn't know what to call it. So if you guys take any issues with it being called Mumbo Jumbo, then I apologize. I'm not gonna change it just because I really don't know I just don't know what to call it. So if you guys have any thoughts down below, just let me know, and then I'll change it. But as of right now, it's still called the Mumbo Jumbo episode. So what are your guys' take on this episode?
I just thought it was free flowing. And I just thought it was free flowing. We had all of Naim's friends on there, and that was the night I actually had sausages, and that was the night that it was a good episode. I think it was all over the place, but I think when you have guests, your podcast is more of a free flowing podcast. It didn't have a specific topic, so I think for your first multiple guest podcast, it was pretty good.
Oh, also like that. By the way, folks, just because. Just fun fact, that is actually our first episode where we actually had a sighted individual join us.
Wait, is Naim's cousin blind?
Oh wait, I forgot about him. Forgot about him. Whoops.
Yeah, you always forget about him, actually.
My bad.
On the record,
you had
Obey, I
Naim's
think you
sister,
should
too.
feel some sort of way about this. No, I'm joking around.
Well, no, but you also had Naim's sister, I think, right?
Oh no, but that
Yeah,
was
she came
in a later episode.
Right.
Excuse me. After my laughing, my throat's been all kinds of crazy. But no,
Naim, what is your thoughts on Mumbo Jumbo?
it was great. I love conversations with multiple people. It was definitely all over the place. But something about being all over the place is I just like being all over the place. I don't know that everyone can handle a conversation. That's like jumping from window to window, from tab to tab, from the window to the wall. Anyway, I think we had many great people and many great people who came back to visit us as guests later on. And I think there were questions to be answered. There were conversations that were started. But as a result, we learned which conversations should be followed up with. And Jason, I don't know if this is in the works, but we were talking about a conversation that kind of started on that podcast episode related to race and color and are we colorblind and all this other stuff that we hope to pick up on your podcast if that's something you're still looking at.
Yeah.
But the point is there was a lot to be talked about and so many different personalities, and each personality added a dynamic to the episode that was just their own. Everyone added their hint. Jason, of course, you're the lively person. Oscar, you're the okay, let's rail it in type person. I'm basically dropping in and out as my phone always dies, and then not remembering what was covered and what wasn't covered, being long-winded. Sarah's the curious person,
Mhm.
Zoe's the knowledgeable one, the one who will drop a factoid here and there, the cultured one. And Juliana, she gives a sense of compassion, a sense of empathy to all, a sense of, I guess, emotional connection that you don't find in a lot of people. So everyone had their own flavor they added to the conversation, their own spice. One was salt, another was pepper, one was thyme, one was oregano, and a third was basil. And there was some rosemary too. It was a flavorful conversation. It was layered like lasagna. It was tasty.
All right, got the next. And yes, I'm doing fun. I started doing these episodes in order from from number 1 all the way up to, the last episode, but, this episode actually kind of, in my opinion, I'm biased towards it because it was a little bit about me, but, this is my next favorite clip. Jason.
Number 5.
Oh, man.
All right, so we know. By the way, we came up with this idea with on Sunday when we got Naim's a little bit of Naim's backstory. I know that maybe some of you are wondering, okay, we know a lot about Naim, but we don't know a lot of about Oscar, So I'm just gonna take this opportunity and let you guys in on certain things about my life. So as we covered in our pilot, or I think we covered a tad bit, I just didn't get to detail. So I wasn't born blind, like Naim was. My condition, I ended up losing my vision when I was 4 years old due to the hydrocephalus, which is water in the brain. And because of, I don't know if it was because of maltreatment, malpractice, I don't know the full story because my family really doesn't know themselves to this day. So when that happens, when you have hydrocephalus, you have to get, a drain per se, which is called a shunt, and that will drain, water, make sure that the water doesn't overflow and destroy any of the nerves. So unfortunately, again, I don't know if it's because of maltreatment or malpractice that the drain didn't work for me when I was a kid, before I was 4 years old, and due to that, water overflowed, destroyed the ocular nerve, lost my vision, may have lost part of my memory because I ended up having a stroke due to, pain and stuff like that. I had a headache at that time as well, but I don't know. Because if you ask me, because I do get that question, do you remember seeing, or I get the statement, the general statement, hey, then what it feels like to see. And I say no. I don't, because, I don't remember. I don't know if it's because of the stroke or, anything else. So, yeah, that's a little bit about, my condition.
All right. Jason, your opinion on this clip.
I think that was a really good personal moment. It really kind of explains who you are, and it shows that you're a calm person. And it kind of just, I think my favorite part of that was you broke down your condition, and I kind of relate to it because mine is also rare, and I keep learning about it as I go in life. So it's not like something that people like glaucoma. They're like, oh, this, and that, right? And mine is SOD, but that's my condition. But I think I have two favorite parts. One, it's relatable to a lot of us who have rare conditions. Number two, it's kind of a great thing to show your sighted viewers, really the world, that blind is not just one shade of blindness. People think like, oh, obviously you can't see, you can't this, you can't that, or you can this or you can that, you can do that. But I think it's really good because it really shows that there's differences in blindness. It's not all the same, and I think that's what I got the most from that podcast, that part of the podcast itself. Is there was a lot more, but I think it was just a good moment with you just talking to the audience and them getting to know you, which I think is absolutely necessary. Because you want people to feel connected to you, and I think one thing that podcast really taught me, I cover politics and technology and entertainment, and technology, entertainment, and politics. You don't really have a lot of room to relate to yourself. The only thing I relate to in politics is working class issues and this and that. And I really feel like maybe when I listened to it at the time, I'm like, maybe I should do that. But now when I really listen to it, I feel like maybe I should tell people who I am, and maybe I should figure out who I am on the podcast, and maybe tell them, a little bit about my life story and how I came to love the 3 things that I cover on the podcast, and why I'm the way I am. And I think that's what maybe might help my podcast. So that's my thoughts.
Naim.
Yes. So,
Well, what's going on?
I think I know what's going on.
no. So, basically, he
Is it-
knows. Yeah, he knows.
Oh, I know what's going on.
Yeah. Anyway, so, Johan Hari and Joe Rogan describe it best in their conversation on Joe Rogan's podcast. And this is really just such a sexy thing about the American way. And it causes us to appreciate. And I don't think it's American exceptionalism as much as it's more common here in America than in places like Europe. You find it also in the Middle East. This is one thing the Americans and the Arabs have in common, is the acknowledgement that everyone has a story, and the other acknowledgement that, it's nice to hear your story and it's nice for you to hear mine because we can relate. Everyone has their backstory, everyone's story is slightly different, but just as many differences as there are similarities. And that's just such an attractive, such a sexy thing, just being able to walk up to some random individual and say, hey man, hey young lady, what's your story? Tell me. And I'll trade my story with theirs, and over a bucket of fried chicken or some mozzarella sticks or some cheddar peppers, or and just have a good time, dive deep. And that's something that's so nice about America. And like I said, they do this in the Middle East and the Arab world as well. That's not found in Europe or Scandinavia, which is part of Europe. Or like other places. And I don't know if it's just lifestyle, but like Johan Hari said, like he had used a reference, in the United Kingdom, the only time you would hear someone say, what's your story? It's sort of like in an interrogation room where the cop is asking you in like a cynical, sort of sarcastic tone. So what's your story? You're already accused, like give me your version of events. But that's what I really felt from you, Oscar, is that genuine, you have a story and you have a story to tell. And it's our opportunity to sit down and listen to that story, because it is a robust, thick, flavorful, deep, meaningful, spicy, well-rounded, well-colored story with so many layers, like the most beautiful of paintings. And I think that richness, that vibrant vibe you give to your story is what makes it yours, is what makes it Oscar apostrophe S. Everyone has that story. And there's always a platform where that story should be told and where that story should be consumed and related to. So I think there was a lot of greatness, magnificence that was found in that value of telling your story, me and the viewers, or the viewers and I, listening to your story and being able to relate to your story. I know Jason said he was able to relate, but just as many similarities as there are also uniquenesses, if that's a word, unique aspects to your story that makes it yours, that makes it individual, that makes it personal, that makes it Oscars. And that's what's so nice. That's what's so nice. That was really, truly pleasant of that episode.
You sound like the affiliate president from Virginia.
Tracy DeFranco. Yeah, you do.
We believe in such greatness, Mr. President. You really sound like, No, it was a good episode. It was definitely something that I never expected when I was watching it, because most episodes are upbeat, and I was like, whoa, that caught me off guard.
It was a real story. It was sincere. It was tasty.
I'll taste
What
it.
I liked about the episode was that Naim kept on muting himself, and I kept on calling his name for like so many times.
The one time he does, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. We should start establishing a cue word. Like the first time you use my name is when you're letting me know, all right, this is your 30-second warning. It could be like, so Naim, but then continue whatever points you have to make up. But it's sort of like a wrap up, it's a cue to me.
You don't listen sometimes.
Yeah, you really
I know, I
don't.
listen, I pay very close attention. It just takes me forever to find the mute button. I play very close attention, especially to Oscar stories. They deserve paying attention too.
And that was number 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jason, your cue.
Number 4.
Why aren't you playing? Oh, there
Hey,
you go.
Naim, this is Hod.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So I just wanted to jump into this discussion. As I was actually a senior this year at George Washington University. I was a double major, and I guess I could speak from my perspective as a graduating senior. Not just any kind of senior, not any basic kind of senior, but actually a super senior. I do feel like the end to our school year was obviously very abrupt for most of us. And in March, it was like a time where I was looking forward to, a traditional graduation and the ceremonies and the end of the year parties, etc. But, once everything was halted, it was a major, surprise to me ultimately. However, there are some good things that I did have to look forward to, obviously, as, having more time. I was a commuter, so I had more time to, just ultimately focus on my studies rather than spending hours commuting into the city, spending time on campus rather than just going back home for like that hour between classes, and ultimately just, getting more time to focus on my classes that were ultimately spent just, doing other activities outside of the class. And then...
So I would like to say something before I like how I literally put that on cue. Like it was right on cue.
That's crazy.
When she started speaking, when she started speaking, I played it.
She's a little cutie. Yeah. No. I think one of my favorite parts is she's so smart. I mean, you don't need to know her, which I don't, and you can tell how intelligent she is, how articulate she is. She speaks with such, I don't know how to put it. She sounds like an older, like I'm not saying it to be mean, just me listening to her voice, the intonation, the register. It sounds like a 30, like a 28, like a 32-year-old, like maybe like a 30-year-old master's student is what she sounds like. That's kind of what she sounded like to me, but she sounded so poised, so mature, adorable, but smart. I'm not sure where that came from because there wasn't a transition. Like I don't know what you guys were talking about before, but I thought it was really cool to have that pandemic. What?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was cool to have that pandemic. Just what it's like for different people. But definitely she sounded so smart, sweet, poised, mature, kind, like this older, individual who's been through life. She's been through her 20s. She's been through everything. Now she's ready to just, continue her career. And that's what literally she sounded like to me in that clip.
By the way, Naim, you'll get your opinion in last just because it is your sibling, so you get that honor. But no. But my take is, we sit here as, blind folks and, we talk about, troubles that, we face or we faced with COVID. And this was within Mosum's episode. that, we had trouble, with accessibility in schools and stuff like that, transportation, classes. But, having, his Naim's sister on here, made me realize that, hey, sighted people, although different issues, they still had issues with school. Like, what she said, she was looking forward to, graduating, the normal way, going across that stage, having parties and, stuff like that. But, with COVID, it just didn't affect, blind folks. It affected, the sighted world as well, their habits and their, routines and stuff like that. So Naeem, what is your take from
Well,
talking blindness with
before Nike
Muslim?
goes,
Oh,
um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, just one real quick thing. I thought it was awesome just because I'm in college. And just like the way she said, I commute and I stay on campus rather than just go home or I'll only go home for that hour and then I'll go back to campus. It's literally my college life. And just to see that abruptly changed made it
Yeah.
difficult to start learning. I thought that was very relatable.
Yeah, yeah.
So, first and foremost, Azhar is a very honorable individual, very studies focused, and has great ambitions out there, which she is very aggressively pursuing, which is great. Being ambitious in the positive context. I will say, that's one thing about the pandemic, is it brought us all together. Brought us all together. And
You just sounded creepy when you whispered that. Like you went.
together. Well, it did bring us together. And it's like
All right, Tracy.
yeah. Okay.
Tracy's a friend code.
President Sofrenko is a great individual. But yeah, so I think it's important to note and it's important to realize that we all had our struggles through COVID and are all continuing to have our struggles. But I think to highlight the story of a graduate and going through those troubles, the turbulence of those troubles, is something any senior, high school, college can relate to. And that's, it's a somber note, I will say, but it's also a point that we all we all stop for a second and say, damn, this pandemic has changed a lot. No need to hate, no need to gripe over things, no need to feel bitter and salty, but we talked about this in the Mumbo Jumbo episode. Some people are doing weddings over Zoom. It's not the way they used to be. It's not the way they are supposed to be. The enjoyment of a wedding, the enjoyment of graduation, the beauty in graduation. It's so nice. And for us to sit here and say, yeah, everything can become virtual. I think that's a perfect example of how not everything can become virtual. There are just certain things that human touch, emotion, sense, value is added where you wouldn't find that virtually. There are just certain experiences. You can't do the hanky pankies with a robot, right? Because you're not going out there trying to catch COVID. But the point of the matter is, well, actually, Japan is working on sex robots. Fun fact.
Jesus.
The love bots, the love robots. But
By the way, just a casual note. Our next clip, you guys are gonna probably die again.
Oh.
I better find a mute button. But yeah, no, I think it's important to say it was great to have a voice on that, can show us we all share a universal experience. And, sighted, blind, male, female, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, we all were impacted by this COVID pandemic. And I think that's what that clip kind of in its own right highlights. And we will do special episodes on, like I said, we'll do a relationship series, and one of the episodes, if not more than one, will be on sibling relationships and sibling dynamics. So there's more to come, hopefully, from us hot in the future. And it's truly an honor to have all guests, but it's always an honor to have, the family members who pour faith into this project of ours and give us the support, the hope, and the love, just as all of our other guests have. So it's great. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think I can mute myself while I'm recording, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
oh,
you can.
because I'm over here trying to be quiet and like.
You might want to be quiet for this one because do it, Jason, and then I'll play.
It's number 3. Number 3.
Come on, play. Come on. Oh. Gotta do it with a voiceover. Oh, I lost signal. What do you know? Give me 1 second, folks.
Well, Oscar does this.
Will you play now? I guess not.
Double tap on video is noted.
Looks like I'm gonna have to restart YouTube.
All right, well, we can talk while you do that.
Yeah. Hold on.
So tell us a little bit about canela, Jason. You say it's kind of like cinnamon?
Yeah, it's like a Mexican cinnamon. It's like a spicy kind of cinnamon thing. And
Okay, getting ready.
I know exactly what to do.
So with me, I guess too, right?
Oh yes, I know exactly how to make you go virtual. Anyway.
Did you not catch what you said, Jason?
I did.
You'll have me virtual in no time, just saying something so aggressive.
I did not catch it.
I
Do you
want to
guys mind
control your
reviewing
remote
that?
control.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Naim, you need to mute yourself. That was hilarious.
Just because I know exactly what to do.
So with me, I guess too, right?
Oh yes, I know exactly how to make you go virtual. Anyway.
Okay, now you guys can laugh out loud.
I think that was our first episode.
No, that was our second Tech Talk episode. No,
Oh
our
my
last one. It was our
God.
last one. I think it was our last one.
No, it was definitely not the last one. The last one was really good and informative. That was hilarious.
I remember there was a segment where Jason and I continue to show each other some love, if you will.
Yeah.
Genuine love, of course. Genuine
Oh,
love.
okay. Yeah. Well, because you said it would literally, you threw it down the middle. Like you literally said, well, you know what to do with me, I guess. And I said, oh, I know exactly how to make you go virtual.
You'll have me going virtual. You'll have me going virtual. Man, I don't know how to like throw one back at you. You'll have me going virtual 24/7 HD.
Other than actually,
That was a funny clip because I like how Oscar was going beep beep beep.
no, it wasn't. No, it was our last episode, Jason. It wasn't the last
really?
last episode. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I will say
Right.
something about your mic, Oscar, is so amazing because it made us all sound like wolves when we were laughing.
But all joking aside, what is your guys' take on our last tech talk?
That was some funny stuff right there. That was hilarious. That.
After being in, you said it. Like I guess I can take my take on it. Like what you said, it was more informative than anything else. So it was interesting. I pulled that episode just because, or that clip, just because I thought it was a change of pace, a change of mood. That's my take on
It's
that.
so funny that we went there because I'm like, oh my god. And the fact that we all started laughing, it was just, I could just imagine if we were all together, like I'd be touching Naim or we'd all be dying in person. Like, it was that funny.
Of course, you'll be touching me in all kinds of ways.
I'll be touching you like I touch drum sets, I'll be touching you like I touch pie, cake, I'll be taking a good bite out of you,
Tap out of that percussion.
I don't want to tap your snare drum, I just want to get your bass going, just
boom, boom, pow. It's like
Pow.
that 808 drum.
Oh, yeah, it was just so hilarious. That was my favorite part was, we were talking about, I don't know what we were talking about.
It was it was wrapping up the questions that you wrote up, and I was trying to find a clip, where I shine talking about backdoor attacks.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
but
right.
I couldn't find that clip because I didn't know where it was. But
Because I didn't let you into my back door, right? Okay, that was distasteful.
Maybe in his front door, but
anyway, continue. Sorry about that.
By the way, I do want to clarify. So I said something, about backdoor attacks. So what they are is, it's it's a person that wants to get information, but the way that they could get information or gain access is, they find a way via either hacking tools or coding, and then that's the way they can get into into your browser, and then they again you don't know what it is, you don't know that your information is being taken. So, that's what, backdoor is. You can like sneak in, sneak out whenever you want, take information that you want, and you'll never be detected. So that's what backdoor really is. But,
Decoding all in all the way. All in all, I want to say that episode was a great one. I learned a lot. It was quite informative.
I like that viewer sent questions, which was cool. That we got to read their questions. They were very insightful questions, and I know
even though there's a secret between us three that we will not say on air.
I had to get Naim from the back, so he would release the questions. That was the secret. Anyway,
I was keeping him from y'all.
But that was my favorite part was that we were all kind of helping each other out with that, and we were just kind of going off and just spouting knowledge. But that clip for me was just hilarious. It's funny.
Yeah, all in all, that episode was great. I just think there was a lot I learned, and I don't think I would have thought of those questions if the viewers didn't provide them, because I was all over the place in the original Tech Talk episode, and I think that's what inspired some folks to reach out to us with questions, helped us with organizing the format, helped me with better understanding the knowledge I needed to strengthen my argument, So thank you guys for giving me the info.
I'll give you any info you want.
All right, so shall we move on? We're two clips away from finishing this, and it's kind of late, and I'm kind of surprised that I'm still fully functioning awake.
So number 2, right?
Yeah.
Let's tear up some number 2.
Number 2.
So I think you guys said something really interesting. About like Naim mentioned that he dreams like he dreams like he sees, like how in the world he senses like smell and stuff, and that's how he dreams. Like he doesn't see anything when he dreams as well. He just kind of imagines stuff. Is that how it's like for you too, Oscar?
Yeah. And sometimes, okay. So I'm gonna tell you what I always would do when I was a kid, according to my family. So when I was a kid and I recently lost my vision, what I would used to do was I used to touch people's faces per se, and that's how I would be able to identify people. Again, this is according to them because I don't remember this at all. But then, as I, started, when I grew up, I started to identify people by, their hands. Because, I would shake a lot of people's hands. And, a fun thing that people would try to do to me is they would give me their hand to shake, but they wouldn't, say hi or anything to see if I could identify who it was. So I would, that's how I ended up, knowing people. And then also by their sound of their voice as well. If I can, let's just say, Sarah, you're like far away. And since I know how the sound of your voice, I would try to pinpoint with the best of my ability, where you are. And I would try to, go to where you are. So you see. And that's how, I would.
All right. So, Jason, what is your take on this clip, which was the dream episode? Part one.
Well, what I really love about Sarah is that she's, as Naim said, she's so curious and she's so respectful of how she asks questions. And, when she asks questions, they're super substantive and insightful. They are just an aura about her when she's talking. And I think what I really liked about that podcast episode, in the Mumbo Jumbo podcast, she was in a really noisy area. This time you could really hear her, but this time I feel like she really came out of her shell. I mean, she really just came out in full swing and just was not shy. No, she wasn't shy in the other one, but she really was just going for it. She wasn't holding back, and really she was just asking away, and it was just her curiosity. It didn't get the best of her, but it really made her shine through that episode. I really think that I have never met a person. I think I've only met one, but I've never met anybody else besides that one person, except for Sarah, that has that abundance of questions to ask. It is just the way she asks them. She's so artful with it. She's not asking just to be like an ass about it. She's incredibly smart and diligent, and she's, I'm excited to have her on the podcast in particular because she's so insightful. The way I don't know, it's just the way she asks questions. It's like they're so informative and they're so direct and they're so, here's what I'm asking, here's what I want to know, go. And the way she was speaking, she was so confident. And I think that was a good way to describe how blind people, quote unquote, see in dreams. I know that's a huge question. And for me, I feel like I do see, just because I do see a little bit. But I mean, that was a great episode. It's one of, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I have to say it's part of my top 5 for sure.
Naim, what is your take on both of the dream episodes? Because this was episode 12. We just lost connection and had to do a part 2.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and I don't remember this part, but that's probably when my phone died out.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, I mean, I miss on the best conversations. Yeah, the question was very insightful. The response was very, personal. It was how you experienced it, and every blind person experiences things differently. Like for me, it was actually, I really used to get annoyed with this. There were people who tried to make me guess who they were when I was younger by changing their voice slightly. Failed horribly because, I could still tell who they are. But they would change their voice ever so slightly just to throw me off. And it's like, you're already sexy and attractive. You're just making yourself more sexy when you talk like that. But I mean, it's like, I don't know. I guess people found thrill in it or were curious. But her curiosity was different. It was, hey, I genuinely want to know, There are folks who, did this whole how many fingers am I holding up thing when I was a kid too.
I hated that.
Me too.
I never ever recall.
Cool. You the recall got the ticket, huh?
Yeah, I don't recall the ever identifying people from their hands or identifying them from their faces. But the point is everyone has a different way of identification, and for me it was solely the voice. It was always the voice. Some people had specific fragrances they would wear, but it's still hard to guess because there's no fragrance that's specific to any particular person. There are some people who wear this one fragrance over and over again, but I could run into anyone else who's wearing that same fragrance. And so, but voice has always been for me the identifying factor, just as much as features are for someone sighted. I like how you got into the whole pinpointing a person by where they are, where they're positioned based on their voice. I never really thought of it that way. And I guess that's what I did, but I just never thought of it that way. So it's pretty cool. You articulated something that I've probably done naturally without ever considering. So thank you for articulating that, Oscar. There was, and I think it is, the point is there was, everyone goes about things differently. There are so many ways to skin a cat, so to speak. Disgusting, but anyway, it's a saying. Some people say that there's only one way to shear sheep, but I wish there were multiple ways so you could be a little more humane. Multiple ways to shear sheep. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know, viewers, in the comments below whether there are actually multiple ways to shear sheep or not. But yeah, it's great stuff. I really enjoyed that particular episode. We really got down and dirty. Did I ever? Not in that sense. Did I ever make sure everyone's heads are out of the gutters? Did I ever finish telling my dream? I can't recall because I know I died out.
I think you did.
All right, yeah, because that was a very
you did.
exotic dream. But I remember that dream I had for some reason a dimension, a layer of sight that I don't actually have. So that was pretty cool. I think that was the unique and defining factor of that dream. And the Peruvian food tasted good in the dream. I remember eating some of that. But for all you guys who aren't sure what we're talking about, check out the dreams episode. I definitely get into it there. So,
all right.
What you guys doing for dinner?
I kind of, if I could, Oscar, I just wanted to comment. It just makes me like this podcast. Even I'm not just saying it just because I'm your guys' friend, and I possibly want you to give me donuts. But anyway, just putting that out there. Birthday's coming up in a month on the 26th of September. That's going to be a Friday this year. And, it's going to be, I think it's actually going to be a Saturday. So if you want to know that. Anyway, so I think what I really liked was her and you guys. I really love that episode, part 1 and part 2, because you guys just flowed. It was just flow. Like, it was just not like the others where everyone was getting their footing. You guys have now done 13, 14 episodes, 15 now, and 16, and you guys have spent hours and hours and hours on podcasts together, and I think that is just incredible. And Oscar, you're doing your solo thing, and I'm doing mine, and it just flowed so well. And I love how she just asks a poignant question, and she's so sweet and kind, and it flows, right? And with all of you on that episode, it really, Naim had his signature tone, you had your signature calmness, but I think each of you took command of the podcast in so many ways. And I think that was my favorite part about it, was Sarah took control of that clip hard. I mean, it was, but then Oscar turned it right around and was like, actually, I'll take control. Not meaning to, just. And I think that was one of my other favorite parts of the podcast episode itself, part 1 and part 2.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Dang, I keep on forgetting that I need to grab the mic. Okay. No, yeah. Again, the reason why I brought up that episode was because, so my brother, when he used to work for my mom's company, before COVID, because I used to work for my mom's courier business as well. Him and I, would, have long, different long conversations. And I think he just asked me out of the blue. He was like, "I have a question for you," and you know, he was like, "Cause it's something I've always been curious about." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, like, what is it?" And I actually thought he was gonna ask me something else. I thought he was like gonna ask me something, related to sports or anything. And it was that question. He was like, "How do you, you're blind, but in your dreams, do you have like, can you see?" And in that question, like that answer, like I legit had no answer for him. Still don't to this day, even after we've done that episode. Like that is a question that like I've not been able to answer honestly, just because it's just so complicated to articulate and dissect and say. So I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's my take.
nuanced.
Yeah.
It's so nuanced. I remember my first time I was ever asked was my teacher had said, I want to do this thing on how people have dreams, and I figured I'd incorporate you. It was the first time in my life that I'd ever been asked that question, and I walked in going, I hope I answer this right. 'Cause, I mean, I told the class in a way, this is just me and how I interpret it, and you guys will meet so many blind people in your lives, possibly or possibly not, but they're all going to have differences. And I think that is one of the most difficult questions to answer, just because it's an easy one to ask, difficult to answer, just because it's so nuanced.
Yeah.
I never thought of it, it just never really crossed my brain. How do I perceive dreams? How do sighted people perceive dreams, and so on? But I think that's really a good, for example, Socratic seminar type discussion, a good road trip type conversation, you just dig deep into it. And I don't know that at the end of the conversation, anyone would come to a clear conclusion or a clear answer, because I don't know how, and maybe sighted folks and others in the comments, you guys can answer this question for us. How do sighted people view dreams? When you consume a dream, when you experience a dream as a sighted individual, is it the same as when you're awake? I'm pretty sure it's slightly different, because that's how dreams are for me when I'm blind.
Yeah.
It's slightly foggier,
Yeah, because when you wake up from a dream, like, you're like, man, oh, I was dreaming. Oh, what happened? You have that, like, oh, shoot, I kind of want to go back to sleep, see if I can get there, because I don't know what happened in that. Like, what's going to happen next? When you
It's like
wake
your
up.
own. It's only like it's your own little movie.
Yeah, and it's always with the good food that you wake up right when you're about to eat the good food. It's crazy.
Anyways,
Well, for
let's.
me anyway, it's always the good food. Do you have
Yeah.
some
All
honorable
right.
mentions?
Oh yeah, honorable mentions. I mean Jason's first Tech Talk episode. I think again
We're,
I brought.
we're doing this before number 1, right?
Yeah. So
All right, cool.
I'm just gonna mention things just because I don't have anything pulled up. But things that honorable mentions is obviously the first episode more with Jason, is how Naim literally was scolding us for or scolding people for not believing in a wild west theory. And Naim, don't mention anything because you already made it clear what you meant by that. So but like again, he literally went off on us without letting us explain. And then I think if it wasn't um if I wasn't mistaken, I think it was our second tech talk where I remember this, Jason, where we were grilling Naeem about getting a new phone, and he like before we
Yes.
wrapped up, and he really couldn't take constructive criticism. He had to like
Still
add
can.
his 2 cents.
Yeah. And I remember I was asking him, I said, Naim, you can't say no. It's in the mail. I bought you a phone. He's like, well, I'd wait until this phone dies out. And I was so mad that night that I honestly broke one of my adapters because I was so pissed. And I was like, oh my God, I've never met a person like Naeem that's like, oh, you know what? I'll just save it until then, or I'll sell it off and get legal value for it. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Right. And I remember we started a hashtag that never went anywhere. And I just was so mad. And I think he was making me cry. And that because I said, what if I got you a watch? What if I got you a phone? What if I got you this, a speaker, this, that? Finally, I reached the Mac, and I'm like,
well, even with the Mac, like now I have access to my Microsoft Surface Pro that's right here. And even with the Mac, I will be honest. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna use it until I'm not really using this anymore or it gets old. It's kind of like I use what I've already taken out of the box. The other things I'm gonna use. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna dispose of them, but I'll use them once what I have in front of me stops working. I'm not gonna open a second box of pizza till I finish the first pizza. And because otherwise it's just being wasteful. And we have to make sure that we preserve our resources, because part of the climate catastrophe we're experiencing as a planet right now is the abundance of waste, is the consumer excess, and that's part of the problem, not the whole problem, but it's a notable part of the problem. It's a substantial part of the problem, is our eager willingness to just move on to the next best thing, and we're being a little excessive in our consumption. We're being a little wasteful in our consumption when there's a plethora, there's an abundance of resources that we haven't fully used to their full capacity. We just throw them to the side and move on to the next. But no, I will say that particular episode, the original Tech Talk where I steamrolled you guys. I don't want to really use the word scolded, because I wasn't forcing you guys into my belief. I would hope. I steamrolled you guys. It was an opportunity for me to grow. It was an opportunity for me to realize, okay, you get passionate about how you feel, but you also have to give others the space to get passionate about how they feel. So it was a growing opportunity for me. I do want to clarify, though, I don't think I ever fully articulated. And
yeah, you did. You did.
No, I haven't. You know why? I know I haven't fully articulated. I haven't
Yes,
fully.
you did.
I haven't
Jason,
to
didn't
this
he?
day.
Did he not?
I may have.
Naim
But
went all. I mean, he went on to another topic that we weren't even discussing. I was like, whoa, this went all over.
But
Which is why we had to do a part two. It wasn't
but
like. I remember because his spiel was, and don't go into it, but it was just about the free speech in the media and social media
yeah,
and public
that's
and all that.
yeah, that exactly. That's exactly what you said, Naim. And in your
yeah, but I
summary, you're
still.
like,
The problem is I haven't articulated it fully yet, because I haven't fully established my thesis to this day. I haven't fully
well,
decided my position yet. Period.
well, either way, there is one more honorable mention that I do want to throw out there is our second pilot, or pilot part two. Because that's where we reveal where we got, our adult training, that continued, our story of, going through, ups and downs. By the way, Naim, I think that's an episode that we should, divulge is, even though, within, friendships and stuff like that, we'd still go through our ups and downs. And there are a few that, come to my mind when it comes to, our downs, and then how we, resolved those issues. So that, that's another episode for season 2 as well. But yeah, those are honorable mentions, guys, that I want to throw out there. I'll definitely put uh I have a lot of work to do tomorrow for school, for the school that I'm doing, so I'm probably not gonna. I'll do my best to post the episode tomorrow night, but if I can fit it in my schedule. But if not, expect this episode to go out on Wednesday. But our Jason, segue, yes, please take us home.
I want to take my home any day. All right. Number 1.
Oh, a preface to this episode, or this clip. So what it is me finally getting my mic and setting it up, and I'll definitely give my opinion on after the clip is played. But I'm using Ira at this point in juncture, so excuse the pause. I'm just
I remember
talking
this.
to the Ira agent. You're not playing again. There we go.
So let me let the folks know that I'm on the podcast with. So Naim, yeah. So I did get the IRA agent. It's okay. But she won't be heard on the recording just because I do have my headphones in on my phone. So really just hear whatever you hear me say is probably just repeating what the agent says in my ear.
Yeah, if that would be appreciated if you could relay what's the instructions being told to you. And
yeah, so Naim and I will mute and we'll let you take it away.
And this is going to be a long clip as well, just because I do want to have you guys see, you know, the quality between laptop and finally setting up the mic for it to work.
Yes, please. Okay, so I have a question. I have 2 chords. Which chord would it be? Yeah. Is the camera facing the right way? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, this is just 1 chord, by the way. I don't. Let me see if I can find it, just because I have everything. I just unboxed it, so let me get organized. Oh, I found it here. So it's a PC. So I think this is what I have in my hand now. Just give me one moment. Okay. Yeah. So I guess the USB end will go into the computer. Okay, so that is the USB port is connected. Okay. So this is what it looks like. If you can tell me where to plug it in. Yeah. Is it close to the buttons or? see if I can get my the headphones that I want to use.
Did you get it? You sound different. I think you might have gotten it.
Alright, so what's next? Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me test it up. Can you guys unmute for me, please?
Yes.
How is the audio?
I can hear you so well. It's crazy. Like, I noticed the minute you got it to work. I was like, oh, is it working?
Naim?
Okay. So what is your take on, this episode, which is, well, not an episode, but it's supposedly a clip of me, getting the microphone, unboxing it, setting it up, and finally, getting it to work.
I was confused at first, to be honest. I mean, I knew what was going on, but I think possibly my least favorite part as a viewer was that it left the viewers so, because you couldn't hear the IRA agent help you out, and without that, this is an audio podcast, so having that would have been crucial. I think to letting the viewers know, wow, there's a service called IRA if they're blind or even sighted people, just letting them hear how they're guiding you. And I think it was anticipation, but I think my favorite part was hearing Michaela freak out. Because I also freaked out when I was watching it. I was like, whoa! I was like, whoa! I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I remember I had played it back because it was into the 40-minute realm, and I was time stamp, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa! He definitely sounds different. I was definitely shocked, but I think the best part about that was hearing both of their reactions. Michaela's especially, because Naim was very calm as always, and she freaked out, and that's why I tell you I want to work with her, Naim, if you don't mind. I'd love to, just because she does her videos and she knows audio very, very well, and I think it was just so cool to see you working that out and how the podcast changed right away.
So unfortunately, the IRA agent, I guess it has something to do with the IRA agent, because I did ask them, like, hey, I'm filming a podcast, do you mind? They're like, yeah, we don't mind, but I rather not be heard on the audio, so I had to kind of respect that, their wishes with that. So unfortunately, the agent, I couldn't work out that deal. I had to work out what I had to work out, and at the end of the day, that was the end game, the microphone. And I know that, because I was thinking at the same time, I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if, we got the IRA agent on the line. But she she was like, I'd rather not be on the audio, please. And I'm like, oh, okay then. And then I'll
Yeah,
just have your mic.
it's just so much lagging that the viewer would skip ahead. I skipped ahead because I was like, there's nothing going on. And most viewers are going to stop watching because there was just nothing going on. But I think what I liked about it was there was a real unboxing. I think it was cool that, in a way, people get to see how blind people really do have skills to do things independently. And that was probably my favorite part of that podcast, aside from your voice changing completely. I was like, whoa, scared me.
Yeah. Naim?
We understand, but the conversation was definitely one-sided. I will have to say, yeah, I felt like I was going insane there when we were filming that for 10, 15 minutes because both you and Michaela kept on denying that, or not denying, but not
No,
realizing
I
that your
actually
voice had
after
gotten as deep as it had.
yeah, no, I actually had to play it back the video on YouTube to see what you were talking about, but now I see. Do I sound different? Do I sound same deep voice name as we did the last time, or do you sound different? Because Jason
Indeed.
says I sound different.
Indeed, you do. Well, maybe it's not as deep, but it's still definitely deeper than your natural voice. Um, it was a lot of fun showing folks the unboxing experience and how we we do it. We everyone has a different way of going about and voiceover has a way of interrupting what I'm trying to say. Everyone has a way of going about unboxing or for the first time experiencing a device they picked up. They're trying to figure out how to make it work. And as a blind person, you add that layer of that component of, okay, how do I set this up? And everyone problem solves, everyone goes through their toolkit differently. There are some people who will just straight away go to Ira. There are some people who want to explore and try to figure it out like yourself, excuse me, pardon me. And there are some people who will even go ahead and excuse me.
You okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay, Naim?
Yeah. There are some people who will go ahead and holy cow.
Are you taking a dump or something, Naheem?
No.
Is your syncope?
Yeah, something's going on. I'm not sure what it was. Oh man, that was crazy. That was painful. Yeah. There are some people who are
Lots of pain.
What was that?
I get lots of pain on this podcast.
Yeah. There are some people who are, who will use Ira right away. There are some people who will explore and figure it out. There are some people who are in the middle. There are some people who will just ask their family or friends, hey, yo, what's going on? Could you help me figure this out? There are some people who will just straight up have someone else put it together for them. Everyone has a different approach. Side note, unrelated. Yeah, you don't have to get any green lights from me, Jason, as to whether you want to work with anyone else in terms of. Oh, you mean in terms of our controversy podcast coming up? Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have differing views on some things. I think I have differing views to all you guys. I take interesting positions on things that lots of people disagree with me on, but we'll get into that on our own podcast. But yeah, for sure, I look forward to having you on our podcast. In short, Jason, I think that's a short answer to your question earlier. But I think, yeah, that whole unboxing was just different. It's not what we typically do on our podcast, so it was fun. I liked it. It was different. I will say the portion with the IRA agent, we respect, of course, their requests, but it was a little hard to fully understand what was going on. But that's totally okay.
and I did my best. So
no, you definitely did, and that's what was great about it is we all improvised on the spot and made it happen. So it was definitely great stuff. I enjoyed that and really enjoyed that was your number one. We should give you an opportunity to
I'm
give
shocked
us your
that was.
thoughts.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was shocked that was your number one out of everything.
It was unique. I liked it.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna say anything, but recording on my phone and laptop without the mic was okay, but it was just for me it was just stressful and annoying because you kept on hearing me say oh I gotta wrap this up because I gotta put this on the charger, I gotta maybe we should just hold off on this conversation because it's gonna take long. So that's why I picked this as my number one because I finally got this mic, and now I'm connected. My laptop can be plugged in, anytime, like right next to me whenever I need it to be without, freaking out, oh, I gotta end this like right here, right now. No, like I can just, we can keep recording or, keep talking without, fear of me like having to leave the call or saying, hey, we gotta wrap this up. Because sometimes, don't get me, you guys would be in like Naim, I know that you're a very calm individual, but you gotta admit that kind of would get under your skin, like me saying, okay, we gotta wrap this up now because my phone's about to die.
Well, what it is for me, I'm a
You gotta remember,
traditionalist when it comes to conversation.
no, but
Conversation just naturally ends when it ends. But no, I understand where you're coming from as well.
no, but you gotta remember, I'm in charge of the recording, so if my phone dies, the recording will like immediately stop.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. But this is why there are times when, if your battery's low, I could record. It's not a problem. But yeah, no, it's great stuff. It really is. And that mic was a game changer for your voice and sound quality. It's cool stuff. I really do like the mic. I like the addition of the mic. It adds features, and I think you can mess around and see what other cool things you can do with the mic.
Yeah. Well, folks, that was my top 10. I mean, do you guys agree, disagree with my picks? What are your guys', picks? We'll definitely get Naeem's top 10. Naeem, when are you like? I thought you kind of it was just very fortunate that you showed up when you did because we didn't even start recording. In fact, I think Jason hopped online right before you did. When are you available so we can, record your top 10?
Not Wednesday morning at 9:30. I know that because I have a very important meeting at that time on Wednesday morning. We could do tomorrow evening, or I know Jason, you want to have me on your podcast very soon. Is that something you want to do tonight, or do you want to wait until tomorrow for that?
If you're up for it, we can do it tonight.
I mean, either way, it's like, what would you say, 30 minutes?
Just about. Yeah.
Just about.
Just
Yeah,
make sure, just make sure, Jason, that he doesn't fall asleep because this is like the witching hour for him. That he ends up like falling asleep on people on calls. So.
Yes, I did that to Jason the other day. I think it was.
Well, I was actually high, and I was rambling, and my eyes were closing. The relaxed phase of the high was hitting me, and I immediately was already about to knock out, and so Naim, kind of woke up, and as soon as Naim hung up, I was out. I mean, that edible just took me away. It just knocked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, that is my top 10. Naim, again, let's try to settle for tomorrow, just because. But then again, tomorrow, let me see. It's because I want Michaela. Jason, don't get me wrong, you're great, but I do want to get our other reoccurring person to also give her an opportunity to co-host as well.
Yeah, of course. Like that's the point of a podcast. I'm back in my podcast studio getting ready for our show, and a few episodes I gotta do. But excuse me.
So Naim, do you think you can wheel it? Because oh, go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say that's a good thing. Is like you gotta have different co-hosts. A guest co-host. That's what a podcast is all about. Diversifying it. I appreciate you guys having me on this season. It was a lot of fun. And hopefully, Oscar, when you're able to talk technology, we're going to have you on the podcast, and it's going to be fun.
Thanks, man.
And we'll definitely have you back in season 2 for sure, Jason. So it was a great pleasure working with you.
If not, you know who we could pull, Naim?
We have a new guest.
Not a new guest, but she said that she's also like willing. And she did say that she would kind of watch our episode, binge our episodes. Awesome.
Oh, she did talk about binging our episodes. But this may be the test whether she actually got around to that. No, I'm joking. Maybe it'll be a trailer for her to see what.
I'm the ultimate guest. I've watched all your episodes.
Yes, you have watched all of them. Sounds. I have to
Yeah,
get
but
better at
you're
watching all
the
your episodes, man.
you're the only one that I've known so far that would watch all of our episodes. I don't know if
Well, I don't
anyone
have a life,
else
so
has.
I mean,
Yeah, I. By the way, Naim, I did ask Michaela, and she said that she would. It was just that since she didn't watch most of our content, if only like just what we filmed with her and the little snippets, she didn't watch much. So that's
Okay.
why she couldn't co-host with me this time around. But
Yeah, no, that's
maybe
totally
again
fine. I mean, and there may be value added to someone who hasn't because they could be like, "Oh, this is out of context. I'm not sure what you guys are referring to, but this is what I
no,
gathered from hearing that clip." You know what I mean?
no, yeah, but we'll get her at some point. If not, let's try to aim for it. Just because again tomorrow is kind of short notice, and I was kind of hesitant to reach out to her again short notice. Let's see. Let's do Friday, just because I don't even know when I'm gonna post this episode
Yeah, that
or
also
this
gives me time to
this
actually put
this
it on my
part.
calendar.
Yeah, put it on your calendar, and it gives you time on looking at little snippets that you want to review and send them to me as well, so that way I can play them here on my end.
Okay. Yeah, that's
But
for sure.
what I need from you is send me the episode that you want to review and the timestamp, so that way I can go to it, or at least close to it, so that way you
this is
don't
gonna be
randomly
the
say,
longest. It's gonna be the longest video on my phone ever.
oh boy.
Yeah, you could you could feel free to. Once you get it off to us, it'll be in your Skype for 30 days.
Or
But
save it into your files and use little snippets of our episodes. You've done it before, so
Yeah,
we don't
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm actually gonna do that. Talk about your podcast because I mean it is a good podcast, and I actually want to talk about it. So I might use snippets of this, and you never know.
we don't mind. Well, I don't mind. Naeem, do you mind?
no, why would I mind? I don't mind anything coming from Jason.
You don't mind this big thing coming towards you, then watch out.
As long as
Anyways,
it comes for
I'm,
me.
I'm gonna make you go into
and
my cloud.
anyways,
Back you up.
Naeem, where can people contact you, find you, the usual?
I totally enjoy engaging with folks via email. Feel free to shoot me an email to my personal email address, and we can engage intellectually. NM as in New Mexico's abbreviation, state abbreviation. So NM ABUELHAWA@gmail.com. Again, that's NMA B as in boy UELHAWA@gmail.com. NM Abul Hawa. So NM ABUELHAWA@gmail.com. And let's get the conversation started. Email is always a meaningful and wholesome way to do it because you only have so many characters in the Twitter DMs, you know?
Jason.
So you can find my channel, Oscar. If you have the link, great. If not, just text me. I'll send it to you. It's called Political Podcast. If you go on YouTube, on your search, make sure you filter it, and make sure the filter you put is channels, and then put on a Political Podcast. You can also find me on Instagram at FluffyJA97. That's at, and then you can capitalize it if you want. It's FLU, so F as in Foxtrot, LUFFYJA97. And it's the same thing on Twitter at FluffyJA97. And yeah, that's where you can find me, the YouTube channel, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yep. So you can find me on Twitter at OscarJMontiel37. My YouTube channel is Oscar Josue Montiel. Interesting, huh? And then of course, sub up this channel, No Nonsense. Still trying to work out, the Twitter page, for our channel, because I do have that up and running. I just gotta get a link for it, and also try to follow new people or more people on that channel, so that way they can follow us back. So that way, we can just use that Twitter handle instead of mine. But until then, guys, that's where you guys can find us. Again, please like this video, subscribe, share it, and yeah. All right, guys.
Look forward to our upcoming videos too.
Yeah.
Or forward look if you want.
All right, Jason. Let us know when we're clear.
And just hit the just get out of the thing, going back to the chat, right?
No, just hit and just finish. Stop recording. That's where you stop it.
Yeah. Let's sing to the birds and sing